I'm actually fully in frame. You're slightly out of frame. All right, well,
We can fix that after.
it doesn't need to be fixed, really.
Yeah.
It's a purely audio experience.
Yeah, it really is. There's very little to see in this video.
So you had a few things you wanted to talk about in this shit talk, but you actually haven't had your notes to amend them. So Appendium, that's the one. And so-
Your notes currently say front squat.
No, they don't. That's the wrong notes.
Yeah, they're the notes for this one, are they?
So Dara, actually, you can't add any.
You're on my list of enemies, Tony.
There was a deadline, and you missed the deadline, right? And we run a tight ship here at Sika Strength. So
Surely if there's an outline of stuff going on in the podcast, I should have those notes as well.
well, you had your chance to submit notes, and you
Did you
didn't.
submit your notes?
Well, I'm the note maker,
Oh,
so obviously I submitted notes in time.
and where are your notes?
It's too late now. We are in the show. You can't be looking at notes but during the show. That's like trying to bring in a book into an exam.
Right.
Oh, do you want to?
I, by the way, did bring up points I wanted to talk about during this, and now Griff has just derailed the podcast. But go on.
You can't derail a shit talk
Go on.
podcast.
Go
You know, sometimes people.
Let's all talk about what you want to talk
Okay,
about.
let's do it. You know, sometimes people randomly on the shit talks
Yeah.
will get mad at us for something. We don't plan the shit talks. We just whatever we're talking about.
Literally whatever comes out.
And
And,
so-
as well, because we sit next to each other every day, we usually talk about all the interesting stuff when we're in the office. And
Interesting
this just comes out as the blabberings that don't go on during a normal workday.
Well, you might make a statistic, or you might say a statistic, and someone will be like, actually, it was 31,
Yeah.
not 30. And they're like, all right, calm down, buddy.
Yeah,
Whereas
give me a break, will you?
it's not like we're fucking Huberman coming on a podcast talking about random things. I'm just making
Yeah.
Huberman because he gets attacked a lot for that.
Yeah.
But we'll just be speculating on certain things or questioning something, and someone will be annoyed and be like, there's no research to this. And I'll be honest with you, of all the videos we do,
Yeah.
there will never be research done
Never.
for this. It's called shit talk for a reason.
It's literally in the name. And also, like, it's not like we come to normal videos without our shit in order.
And I think the reason people allegedly like these videos is because it's just a bit more relaxed. You know, we don't come to these with an agenda.
Cool dudes.
Speaking of agenda, do you see Camilla and Trump, or Camilla? What's her name? Is it Camilla?
Kamala?
Kamala.
I have no idea.
Kamala Harris. They had a debate last night. Apparently.
Did they?
Yeah. Apparently she won.
No way.
But is that just media spin? I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, you had some topics. What you want to?
Do you know what? I feel like my topics aren't even valid anymore.
There's shit talk. All topics are valid.
So, one thing I wanted to bring up, right?
Yeah.
An incident occurred on Saturday night.
All right.
Late
you sound
Saturday
like,
night.
You sound like a guard at a public press announcement.
No, right? So, we're at like a family thing with my missus' family. We're getting the bus home, which I was averse to anyway. So, it's already not in a bad mood, but I already didn't want to be getting the bus home. Waiting at the bus stop for like an hour and 15 minutes. Routine. Next thing, this guy comes over, coked out of his head, right? Wanting to hug everyone. It's my missus and her mother and father there, like hugging them, high fives. What's your name? How are you getting on? What are you up to? He was going up the town. He was fighting with the lads across the road. They were all going home. It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And when this sort of stuff happens, it's always like so obviously the girls are there and they're like, oh, Joe, that's a terrible situation or whatever. You never know what's going to happen. The one thing that's a bad situation for is me. Because I'm the person who'd have to get involved if something went down there.
Yes.
And this is a thing I've been mulling over in my head for the last few days is like, I'm the person who'll end up having to get punched in the face or punching someone else in the face and getting in trouble.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the older woman or like the young woman there who are like going to be in some way protected from it. And it's an interesting kind of thing because you're saying like, okay, if you're the biggest and strongest in a group or you have some idea of how to hold yourself, you think you're the best protected out of the group. In no way are you the best protected in the group. In every way possible, you are in the worst situation. If you have some idea how to handle yourself, it would be so much better if I was fatter and more out of shape and had no idea what to do in a physical altercation because everyone would be like, protect her over there, you know.
Little tucky boy.
If I had I'm not even going to go into a physical description of the person I'm thinking about now, but if I was somebody who was well known not to be able to handle themselves physically, I'd probably be much safer in that situation.
You know, a weird cohort of a certain generation, and I call them the REM generation in Ireland.
Yes.
You know what that means. I think
Yeah.
most Irish people will know. There's a certain age group. It's a very small window. It's about at this stage now, they're probably in their late 30s and early 40s. There's like a 5-year window there now. They're basically kind of, they came to awareness in the 90s, and we talked about them the other week there in regards to the Catholic Church, and they're weirdly,
REM, by the way, is in relation to the band.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they are oddly socially aware is what I'll call them. I won't put any political grouping on them.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a particular phrase you could use for that gentleman who came up to you, and they would be really upset with you for saying, some of them would be really upset
Yes.
with you for saying that. And it's really, I find it just really interesting. I don't have a major opinion on it, but I like that, you know, for a few years ago, if you said a particular name for those people,
Mm-hmm.
some people will be really mad at you and something can happen. But I feel like now you can say those things again, you know, if you can say what most people are thinking of that particular person, you know,
Yeah.
a ne'er-do-well, you might say.
Yeah.
A
Ne'er-do-well.
A little-
Young sir, you're acting
rogue.
like a ne'er-do-well.
A rogue, like, you know,
Yeah.
maybe you might call
He
him.
wasn't a rogue, though.
Was he?
He was just coked off his head and really wanted, like, social interaction, but he was fighting with his brother and his brother's friends.
Would someone else, not me, would someone else call him a scumbag? Or would you say
No,
he's
because he wasn't presenting as a scumbag.
Okay.
Well put together.
If you saw him not on coke, would you call him a scumbag?
No,
Oh. Apparently Ireland's one of the worst nations in Europe for coke.
I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Like, he was well put together, but he didn't have fucking black eyes and blood coming out of his nose.
Mm-hmm.
He was just coked off his head and floated across the street. Like, he's not... he probably works in Deloitte or something.
Yeah.
Like, probably not a bad person, but everyone knows what could happen there.
Like for me, I think like a palms up grip and then a little whizzer, you know?
No, what I was immediately going to go for, because I think you immediately go for here and I go right side collar grip.
Full mount, hand over the mouth, and this kind of rape choke.
Smother grip, yeah.
Yeah, smother grip. Mother's
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah.
So we get funny comments sometimes on stuff like this.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we'll get comments and videos. So by and large, I'm going to say 99.98% of
Yeah.
all our commenters,
Great comments.
of our regular commenters who I recognise, are always very nice, just normal people.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you ask them what jobs they do on the live stream and stuff before, it's always IT engineers.
Yeah.
But just really normal people, varying in ages. Usually 25 to 35 is our biggest demographic. Super normal
Yeah.
people. I can't stress that enough. Our audience is relatively captured.
I feel like our audience are people I'd have no bother sitting down for a coffee or going for a pint with.
And having met a lot of them, for example, the Olympics,
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, nice, normal people,
Yeah.
mostly young men, but not double
Not
digits female
Yeah.
listeners, which is very good. So totally normal. But then sometimes you'll just get individuals who might have been listening to us for a long time who'll just like lash out. And I think every YouTube creator gets this. And someone's accused us last week of losing passion for weightlifting and having a midlife crisis for doing jiu-jitsu. First of all, I don't know how old you think you are, but I don't think you can have a midlife crisis at 30. Can you? Or maybe you can.
Maybe you can.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. I also find that a bit it's a bit disingenuous, because obviously when we talk about certain things, like, we sit down and we talk about or think about weightlifting for at least 8 hours a day. Like, and it mightn't be just weightlifting, but it might be power cleans for jiu-jitsu versus deadlifts for jiu-jitsu. But those thoughts are in your brain all day long, every single day. And obviously it's not always just weightlifting as a sport, but you're still thinking about it more than most people have ever thought about a single thing in their life.
Oh, well, they've probably thought about something else this much, but it might be
Yeah.
something in IT engineering, for example.
Yeah.
The interesting thing I like about the Sht Talks is when you get people's experiences. So someone gives us their experience on snatching, or we make a video about front squats, for example, because I just did one. You know, people give me their experience about a front squat, and it's not very novel for me because I've seen lots of experiences have front squat experiences. You know, it's not new, hence why I'm making a video on it.
Yeah.
But what is interesting, you know, the one I think about there is we did one on the Swedish gangs. Remember talking about that a few weeks ago? And I really did notice, and I think one or two people were Swedish. A couple of people commented and said that, and they weren't accusing me of this, but it was really interesting how it was emitted from this, was that a lot of the gang members, and this is coming from Swedish people in the comments, and we can go back and look at that, whatever one that was, but they were saying most of them are immigrants, you know? And I'd actually been led to believe that most of it was Swedish people in the gangs.
Oh.
I think, who's neighbouring Sweden? Is it Norway? I think Norway. They've had to get involved with Sweden or something like that. I haven't got the full story. I didn't read the full headline, but Sweden have a criminal issue or gang issue, and people were commenting, like, look, you don't see it a lot, but a lot of them, it is immigrants in certain parts of these gangs and stuff, which is really interesting, I thought, because when you do the shit talks, you get experiences that are entirely novel from the comments.
I think as well, there are things completely outside of our normal sphere of where we look into. The other interesting thing I find about people listening to the shit talks are when we meet people on the street, or like at the Olympics, we met a lot of people. The shit talk is the number one thing people bring up.
Seminars.
It's the programs and it's Sht Talk podcast.
Yeah.
Which is mental. Yes. We put less work into Sht Talk podcast than we do into anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know, is it a fact that they're in some way unique? Because people generally speaking have a podcast where it's like shit talky, general chat, or else they have a very informative, information-based YouTube channel. But rarely do you get the random chat side of things from people who are providing relatively good information.
Yeah, that's true. You see, we're watching James Smith randomly appeared yesterday, so he dropped his YouTube channel, his main one. It was at like 450,000 odd subscribers, and now his new one has something like 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers, and he's getting a few thousand views for video. And he just basically talked about how he'd gone for audience capture, so just the biggest audiences he could get, and then he'd kind of realized that it wasn't making him the right amount of money. I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm actually not particularly sure what James Smith makes money from. I'm not sure what he did before.
Yeah.
And I'm not even entirely sure what it is now. It seems to be financial marketing advice. It's certainly a very interesting twist, because I could very easily have seen James of 5 or 6 years ago making fun of someone doing this. Could you not?
I was just thinking in my head, he probably has a video about that.
And like, we listen to people who give marketing advice and business advice routinely to see if there's anything interesting there. So it's not that I'm judging the profession, but it is an interesting change in direction or money making tactic that he's doing. An interesting business, I suppose.
What I think could be going on there is, I think James Smith has probably achieved fuck you money.
Possibly.
At the point now where he doesn't really have to be in training and fitness anymore, and to kind of transcend that again and go from the amount of money where he can just do whatever he wants or do what interests him to an amount of money where he has like generational wealth or whatever the next step up is. You probably want to get out of fitness and training and that. Like, he can't write another self-help book, he can't write another weight loss book, but what he can do is use that money to platform himself, get a really good platform behind him, and then start dabbling in the financial side of things.
Well, I suppose the irony, or not the lack of irony there, is that obviously some of his marketing stuff is working, given the nature we're just talking about him now. The fact that you'd know about him at all obviously means he must know something about it, or possibly making something from that.
What I like about the idea of James as well is a lot of the business gurus, or whatever you want to call them, marketing gurus, finance people, a lot of them made their money in the shadows and kind of appeared. And you're like, oh, you wrote a book about making $1 million, or you made $1 million by whatever point, or you had 5 businesses and they were all amazing, or you used to, whatever your business was. But none of that was incredibly out in the open. Whereas I think if we've been following James for a while, you'll have seen him being a normal PT, moving to Australia, doing that whole thing, writing books, becoming absolutely massive, doing world tours, making a pile of money, and then he's gone into advising on that sort of stuff.
It is really interesting. Like, I listen to Christian Guzman a bit. I love watch his training vlogs just for, I suppose, non-committal viewing sometimes, or you can just kind of vaguely listen to something that's not serious. And it seems like Alpha Elite was his company. It is his company, but it seems like it's downsized a little bit in recent years. But what I wanted to see from, just as another business owner to a business owner, I just love to see the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, what was it at its peak? What is it now? But are you making more profits? Like, you let a lot of people go. You let a lot of athletes go. It's weird as well how people get kind of invested in that when you get leave athletes go or employees go.
Yeah.
People get kind of some people are mad at that for some reason, which is very interesting, to be mad at someone for letting employees go in their business or making changes. But I would really like to just see numbers on paper, not that I'm particularly looking for anything. I just want to know out of pure curiosity. I just want to know what other people are doing, because I did listen to that video, and James, most of it, and he was talking about a couple of YouTubers who'd finished YouTubing or kind of burned out. Even though it did massive views, it wasn't particularly working for them. I suppose from my point of view, a lot of people would think of us as YouTubers, but we'd actually started it as coaches. That was it's still our coaches first, and YouTube is the platform by which you get to people.
Proliferate the knowledge.
Yeah, it's for us, and I think we've talked about this before, but the fame or views or niche fame or whatever isn't something we'd really have any major interest in. In fact, if we could do it without any kind of
100%,
any kind of notoriety, would be better. Because at the end of the day, it's very interesting how immune to comments you get. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not a good thing. We'll know in about 20 years. But
yeah,
you look at comments now, and like that comment I was just talking about there, someone like accusing us of a midlife crisis, or you get people annoyed, and I look at comments a lot in other videos, and I'm always interested when the creator replies, like the Instagram person or the YouTuber replies to his comments, and I'm like, you're wasting your time replying to negative comments or overly critical comments. It's not that you shouldn't be looking for improvements or you're immune to critique, but you can't take on board people you don't know. You can't let someone who you don't know, if you don't respect someone, if you can't respect them if you don't know them.
Yeah.
You can't be taking their advice or any of their thoughts as anything meaningful. Like, you can't let that in. But it just has to be just something you just look at and be like, hey, a lot of the time it's a reflection of themselves or whatever. Like, if someone offers a very polite critique or a very polite thought or something, I'm interested in it, and I'll have a look and reply. Or if someone asks a question, but there's like this, I'll give you an example there. Someone was commenting on my YouTube, my training vlog I put up from yesterday, and I was going through the comments, just replying to people, because it's nice because they spend time to comment. So especially on something like a training vlog where it's just very direct at me, I was replying to them, and someone left a comment, was like, why are you using straps on your training? Like, there's no elite weightlifters does that, and coaches using that as a crutch, and it makes no sense. In fact, there's only negatives. And it's like, before, I'm sure maybe even up to like 2 years ago, that kind of comment would have annoyed me. I would have had an emotional response. But now I'm just like, well, it's a comment.
I used to really enjoy the trolling aspect of it.
Yeah, I did as well.
I used to love responding to people on our videos or wherever, be like, thanks, always great to hear from a fan.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And somebody is raging. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was cooking.
Okay.
Because I have a few cooking related decisions coming up. Mm-hmm. And I know you made
stainless steel.
Yeah, well,
someone had a great point in last week.
Jesus Christ.
Someone had a fantastic point. This one in the comments.
On.
Someone was saying that non-stick pans were a solution to a problem that didn't exist. Do you know where non-stick came from originally? It was spray anti-hydrate or anti-water paint on tanks left over from World War II, and someone was like, we could use this for pans, basically.
Right.
Non-stick isn't needed. Stainless steel is the solution. But continue. Continue.
Class.
Go on.
So obviously I'm going to have to get a stainless steel pan.
Yeah. Two
of them.
Maybe two. A pot as well. Because you love stewing things.
I do love stewing things. Anyway, but I'm doing it, as you know, an outdoor barbecue area. Mm-hmm. And so it's like a double bay. It's probably 1.5 meters long, 80 centimeters deep. And I had been planning on cutting a hole in the stainless steel top, insetting my gas barbecue in there, and just a few rivets around the outside of that to hold it in there, gas bottle in underneath, or else gas bottle in the boiler house behind it. But
yeah, that's probably better.
That area to the side, right? So an extra meter in. I had been planning on keeping that empty, but now I have a stainless steel sink. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about cutting a hole, affixing the stainless steel sink to the underneath of it so it's like nice and flush, and then having a tap coming up through the thing, or just keeping it open. What's the usefulness of an outdoor sink?
Yeah, well,
I feel now that I'm saying it would be incredibly useful. A sink at your back door.
Have you thought about a stainless steel skillet over there? Just a massive stainless skillet, like, you know, the big industrial size one, like the size of this table,
like a flat top.
Yeah. And just having a bigger barbecue that's more stainless steel.
But what I was thinking for my actual barbecue
is stainless steel.
Is not stainless steel, but getting a flat top, griddle top for it.
That sentence you just said there? not stainless steel is everything preceding that is incorrect.
Everything else is made of stainless steel. I actually need to get stainless steel rods today.
But you're gonna have one little rectangle skillet, kind of.
Yeah.
Not skillets. I'm not sure called.
No,
them.
what is
Flat.
a flat top?
Flat. I'm sure there's a particular technical name for that.
I think everyone who's watching this has seen the videos of people cooking on them online.
That's the thing. The pros are the ones using the stainless steel. They're using the ROM 2s all the time. And
Yeah, they are.
we're out here using fucking
Professional weightlifters aren't trying to figure out if they get the new Do-Wins or the new Cheers or whatever.
We're out here using non-stick pans that leach forever chemicals into
Like
your body.
losers.
They never go away. They're forever chemicals, forever. But I actually try and always. My mother was always really aware that 'cause she was a chef.
Yeah.
So we never actually used a lot of stainless steel pans. And intermittently, as I'm growing up, obviously in college,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to buy
You had a non-stick pan that was scraped to shit.
all the forever
Yeah,
chemicals.
yeah.
Surely at some stage your body can get rid of them.
There's definitely a concentration thing as well, because you've seen that movie. Is it Still Waters?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Still Waters or Black Waters or Dark Waters? Something like that anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were pumping those chemicals into the ground around where those people were living, and they immediately died.
Mm-hmm.
So there's clearly a concentration thing. I think a bit of scraping off the pan every so often when you've stuck a little bit of extra cheese on there probably isn't going to be...
Well, I suppose the thing probably, if we're just to be analytical of
If
that,
we're once again to go outside of our area of expertise.
the waste of that was probably the issue. So the offshoot of the chemical process was not that the forever chemicals also weren't an issue as part.
Slag.
Yeah, so the offshoots, the water was probably one of those issues as well. So it might not necessarily have been
So maybe forever chemicals aren't dangerous.
No, they are also, but just in that particular case, when you're talking about killing the cattle,
Yes.
that was probably. I'm sure what effects they have on you. You know, there was a study came out recently about microplastics in people's bodies. Not really sure of the implications of that and how long they stay there and getting rid of them, which it's vaguely concerning, but it's everywhere. Microplastics are everywhere.
Microplastics are everywhere.
Water, all your foods, probably in that. You know what I was
Probably
talking about? Another comment again. I was talking about aluminium being a more ethical choice compared to plastic bottles, because most aluminium is recycled, but someone pointed out a lot of aluminium cans have plastic on the inside. So is that even getting recycled?
It's definitely getting recycled.
So you're pro stainless steel now, right?
I'm pro stainless steel. I'm
big stainless
like
steel.
in absentia.
Yeah.
I obviously don't currently partake in the stainless steel.
What are you cooking with at the moment? So
Non-stick pan.
forever chemicals everywhere. I can smell them off you.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm sick again.
Could be. You never know.
The other thing with the carcinogens or things you clearly know are going to make you sick. So like obviously we're working on the house. It's an old house. Worries about asbestos and things like that, you know. But like, so you might be worried about that, but I think you're more worried about things that are in some way unknown. So because it's this dust and you're not around dust like that more often, you're immediately more afraid of that. Yet the same people who are worried about that will go on a night out and smoke 15 cigarettes.
Mm. Well, that reminds us of a certain...
Yeah, but yet the level of risk associated with the 15 cigarettes twice a month is completely different from the level of risk of this obscure concrete dust that's on the ground. And in the same way so a good friend of ours is nearly a doctor. He's a 3/4 cooked doctor. Mm-hmm. And the asbestos thing came up with him and he's like, yeah, look, it's dangerous if it's like in the air or whatever, very fine dust particles. But he's like, so is concrete dust. And so is all the other dust that's in there. Mm-hmm. And so is the dust that's in the insulation in the attic. It's like, it's all dangerous. But you just hear asbestos and immediately think it's a lot more dangerous.
Well, do you know what that is called?
What's that called?
It's called the normalization of deviance.
Risk creep.
Well, yeah, mine one's cooler. Risk creep. Risk creep sounds like a band from the 80s. Normalization of deviance sounds an actual working psychological theory, you know. Risk creep sounds like...
Risk creep is a working term, though.
It sounds like the equivalent
Risk creep is very important.
Yeah, man, I'm going to a Risk Creep concert later. Oh, they're class. Yeah, they sing fucking Asbestos. And they're singing Rusty Nails after.
You know, this is something people probably don't know about you, but you have a horn for heavy metal singers singing non-heavy metal songs.
Why would
what is up with it? Like,
they're of amazing voices. They're fantastic. Like, they're unbelievable.
they're so fucking...
They're good.
They're good, but it's so heavy, like.
Well, heavy. That's the point of metal.
I know, but it's not even metal song. They'd be singing like a Disney soundtrack.
Yeah. Like I was listening to
Let it go.
the heavy metal version of "Make a Man Out of You" from Mulan. Both of which, the original is fantastic from Disney, and the heavy metal version is amazing.
Yeah.
Like there's from The Witcher season 1, there was a song in it called "Toss a Coin to the Witcher," which was sang by
I think that's the actual song I'm referring to.
a guy on a mandolin in the show.
Yeah.
But then there's a heavy metal version of that. It's also very good. There was a while there where I used to listen to a lot of heavy metal while I was training, and people would continually be asking about songs and what this was. But the last few years, I still listen to heavy metal, but not as routinely. I suppose my taste in music is pretty varied, not to make me seem like I'm not like other girls, but just in general, it's always been quite. I am pretty happy to listen to most things. Like country has definitely been a new genre the last few years.
Yeah.
I would have actually kind of omitted country for a lot of my adult life.
Okay.
But I've listened to a lot of everything else. But country was just something where I was like, that is shit. But you know what? I've come around to that as well.
I'd say there's 40 songs I listen to.
I've even been listening to a bit of like
Probably less.
kind of techno again or dance.
You have not.
A little bit, yeah. There's a few things from my teenage years have cropped up again on Spotify, and I'm like,
Castles in the Sky.
yeah, stuff like that. And you know, when you put them on Spotify and they keep
Yeah.
going and it gives you songs, and you're like, that was a great song. Or last night I went to see Deadpool versus Wolverine. First time in 2 years at the cinema, and they had a choir version of Madonna, Like a Prayer, and it was unbelievable.
That's a tune.
That's unbelievable. That's one of the best films I've seen in a long time as well.
We were talking about this morning. I thought Deadpool 1 was very good.
Yeah.
I thought Deadpool 2 left itself down a bit.
I don't really remember Deadpool 2, so I can't really give you an opinion on it.
I am correct in saying there's a Deadpool 2.
No, there is.
I
I just don't remember the show.
must go and see it. Since the house has come along, I haven't gone to the cinema all that long. I was an avid weekly cinema goer.
Yeah, you'd like a
as
monthly
you know
pass.
well. Yeah. Monthly pass for the cinema is the move. If they have it at your local cinema. It's like €14, $14.99 for a monthly pass. And it's $11.99 for one ticket.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So if you go more than once a month, you're in the clear. But also they make way more money because you buy popcorn every time you go.
I paid €10.50 for a toasted sandwich this morning. I'm not one to really take huge notice of prices because I don't really buy new things a lot, I suppose.
Yes.
Like if I'm buying a new jacket, I'm probably going to buy a more expensive jacket than usual, or I'll expense it through the company, to be honest, if I can get away with it. Or if I'm buying something, I want that thing and it'll be that price, so I'll get it.
Yeah.
But we get the same shopping nearly every week.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, you know. Like I bought these Vans.
Very nice.
First time getting Vans in my life. There's like 52
I can't believe you've never had Vans.
I used to always get Converse, you see, and in college I used to get discount Converse, which used to cost $10. Fake off-brand Converse.
Oh yeah, pennies Converse.
Like no brainer.
Yeah.
No brainer whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was like, I don't have any that's not a stupid barefoot shoe, which I love.
I think I've had 6 pairs of those Vans.
They're fantastic. I'm converted, sorry. I'm converted to Vans now, fully converted.
Yeah, they're great shoes.
But I still like the barefoot shoes or whatever. But I was like, I don't have any shoes that doesn't make me look like a gimp if I'm wearing like non-athleisure clothes.
I know barefoot shoes are doing a better job of not looking like barefoot shoes, but there's something immediately apparent when you see somebody wearing barefoot shoes. Like even if it's like farmer's market on a Saturday, barefoot shoes, it just screams Vibrant 5 Fingers.
I've been looking, as you know, I'm always looking for ones that don't look like barefoot shoes. But the problem with having a barefoot shoe that doesn't look like a barefoot shoe is you're kind of losing some of the function.
But also, a flat sole, something like those Vans or these Nikes, once you take the insole out of them, you're as good as barefoot, in my opinion. I don't think you lose any. I don't see you're gaining anything by going full raw dog barefoot.
I'm on the fence. I think there is some benefits to it, but I'm not sure. But then I broke my foot and I've been wearing barefoot shoes for years. So it obviously wasn't doing me any fucking good, you know?
But what? So maybe if the sole in those Vans was a bit more pliable, but that's quite a pliable sole.
Yeah, they're just a little bit more restricted. They are a little bit tighter, to be fair.
Okay.
But I mostly wear barefoot shoes, you know? But speaking of that broken foot, I squatted 270 last night.
So very nice.
Yeah, so that's, I think, just over, I think it's 7 weeks in a day, I think.
For me personally, the 240 of that session is the
Well, yeah, it was 30 kilos lighter.
No, I'm not. I'm saying more so how it looked.
So what my plan was yesterday was that I was going in and I was doing 200 for reps, and I was trying to increase the volume per session because I couldn't really go heavier, because if I got a grindy rep, the arch, so plantar fascia is basically the only thing down there, was pretty sore. Obviously, I had an egregious violent stretching, so tendons and ligaments take a while to return to normal. So any grindy rep, if I pronated my foot too much, was a bit sore, so obviously staying away from that. Then I moved to 220s for volume, so 3 sets of 3, 4 sets of 3, 5 sets of 3, or matching that week per week, whatever. And then I was like, last night I did 220 for a set of 5, but I'm going on holiday tomorrow, and I kind of wanted to do a heavy single before I left, just to start and end, because I'll start a new block after holiday. I'll be training on holiday, but not that much, or I'm not sure how much I'll be able to fit in the bar, because it's a CrossFit gym. And I was like, I did 225, and I was like, fuck it, let me do the single. And I was just always trying to maintain 270. That was the goal, and I was very confident I was doing that. So 270 with as little effort as possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't factor in breaking my foot.
No.
So while I hadn't done 270 since 300, I'd done a 250 and a 260 and a 250, and I was like, I could do 270, but I don't need to do it. I don't need to prove it. But then last night, I was like, you know what? Purely, I did the 240, and I was like, right, 260s are easy. And then I was going to stop at 260, but purely for the fact that I was like, you know what's a lot cooler is doing 270 after breaking your foot a few weeks
90%
ago.
90% bang on.
Yeah, I was like, look, this is purely for observational reasons, like purely from just looking in at it. It is pretty cool to have done 270 after.
Absolutely.
260 is nice, but there's something about 270.
But you know, like, I often feel like we make ourselves feel bad for like wanting a certain number. You know, be like, oh sure, whatever. But a kilo is just a made up unit anyway.
So they're all, you shouldn't want any of them,
like you could have done 1,000 girthlings, or whatever it is, you know. Like, I think you're dead right just to pick a number and go for it.
Well, I didn't pick any number last night. I didn't even plan to do it last night.
But I mean, to have an associated value around that number. Like 270 is better than 260.
Oh, for sure.
But only because that number sounds cooler.
Well, so I suppose what I was thinking last night is it probably stupid to not have done any singles, not have done more than 220 in 3 months after I've broke my foot. Is it smart to go 270? But I was like, you know what, it is still too cool to do 270 after.
I think if you're being honest, you're in the upper 90th percentile of squatters. You're not going to get overly hurt by doing that heavy single.
Probably higher than 90th percentile.
No, in the upper 90th.
Yes. Oh, we're talking statistically.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to put myself further up there.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. Just leave that mark. There's a number I think that will do it forever for me. Like, that's cool. So 270 is a pretty good place to launch off from. I was thinking, it only occurred to me last night. So I did a 220 for 5, and it was 5 RM then, like it was a daily 5 RM, which is the stupidest thing ever, but that was my 5 RM last night. And that spread between 220 and 270 is actually a bigger spread than you'd normally see. You'd probably be looking at like 260-ish, 255-ish.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I've done 270 for 5, and I was like, what would I need for another 5 RM for a bigger than 300, you know? But I probably, after 270 for 5, I probably could have done more than 300 when I did it, if I'd gone through the rigmarole of some doubles and singles. But once I'd done 75, I was like, let me just get 300 out of the way, because that had been a very long training block. But looking at it in hindsight now, further back still, I was like, maybe, you know, if I'd have done, I didn't do any reps at 280 or reps at 290. If I had done some triples or a triple with 280 and then maybe some doubles at 290, probably could have got a 305 or more.
I think as well, because there's a fair bit of momentum behind just getting to 300. I think, looking from the outside in, I think once you did 270 for 5, it was already done.
That's what I said. Yeah,
and it's just like 2 or 3 sessions, bang, let's just hit it and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
I think if it had been the case where you'd already squatted 300 a few years ago, I think you probably then would have done a lot more doubles and triples.
Oh, well, it wasn't stopping at 300.
And eked out that 10 kilos extra or whatever, you know.
When Tushiki did his 321,
yes,
his PB was 310, and he did 311 that night for a PB, and he was like, that felt so good, let me do 321.
That's mad.
That is mad.
That is mental.
He seems to be doing a lot of bodybuilding again, or he's won another bodybuilding competition
Yeah.
just the weekend gone, I think, or 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
I was really optimistic. When he did 2:30 for 5, remember, a few months ago.
Yeah. There's just such a big difference for
What's he
for
going to do?
him.
Like,
What's he going to do? Where's he going to go? Is he going to do 3:30? He doesn't want to be that heavy again. Doesn't want to be that big again. He's certainly not going to be that big and that lean as he is now.
Well, you don't need the much bigness as you think you do. It does help, but you can do it without it. You know, it's it's an easy trap to fall into, and it's definitely a trap I fell into. And I got mud fat, like. No, I wasn't that fat, but I was just.
Speaking of that, actually, that new air bike I got, you can't get it.
Why?
There's 110 kilo weight limit. So you're 20 kilos over.
15 kilos.
15 kilos over.
125. I don't know if anyone knows we're joking when you say 125, but
I think they do, because I commented on a video last week being 5'2", 125 kilos.
I don't think people know.
So one person said thanks.
It's become such a joke.
Yeah.
It started with Zach, because people always ask him how tall he is and what weight he is, and it's weirdly, it kind of gets intrusive or something. Like, you just have a comment, and for whatever reason, people are like, how tall are you? What weight are you? Or like, all right, buddy, you don't even know
We
me.
met someone at the Olympics, and the first thing they said was, "You're way taller than I thought you were."
To you. What?
And it was like they were annoyed.
Yeah, that was actually interesting. But I think it's because we're the same height sitting down.
Yeah, which is bizarre.
What height are you?
6'1", between 6'1", 6'2".
We were, one of our friends last year, or the year before actually, it's 2 years ago, we were unknowingly gaslighting him to think he was shorter than he was. So I always thought I was 5'8", and I just couldn't care less, right? Whatever. But he kept saying he was taller, and I was like, no, because if you're saying I'm 5'8", or if I'm 5'8", you're definitely less than 5'7", you know? And he was like, no, I definitely am. And for weeks we just went on. I'm like, no, you definitely can't be.
From my point of view, it was just bullying. We were just bullying.
I didn't know I was bullying. Well, I was bullying him because
I thought we were both in on it.
No, because I thought he was being delusional. Then we measured me, and turns out I'm actually 5'9", and I was like, oh, actually, we've been harassing you for weeks. We have been psychologically torturing you and think you were shorter, and it turns out he wasn't.
Height is such a weird thing.
The internet has made it a weird thing.
It's utterly bizarre. Why anyone cares about that?
Yeah. I have it. What I find really funny is tall people will both say it's easier to be stronger than you're shorter, but then lament about being taller and how it's hard to gain muscle.
Yeah.
And all at the same time then be really happy being tall.
Yeah.
You can't have all of those.
You can't have it. Also, look, I've had a terrible squat for years, but also you can still squat very big heavy weights being taller, and you can snatch and clean and jerk heavy weights being taller as well. You just have to try. Like you just have to try.
The thing as well, that only lives on the internet.
Yeah.
I've never, unless someone's really short, unfortunately, if lads are making fun of someone. Now, I know I just told a story there, but that was a specific case. Like, but you don't really hear people using their tallness too often or whatever in real life. It's very strange. It's strange how the internet has picked up on certain things.
Yeah. I also think as well, it's something you never ever pay attention to. It's happened to me a number of times now, to the point where I'm aware of it, where I've walked around with a group of people for a couple of days and thought we were all the same height. And then it's like, I'm fucking 4 inches taller than everyone.
Yeah.
I just never ever pay attention to it.
That's you're a sheep. You're a sheeple.
A sheeple.
Yeah.
It's because we're all the same height sitting down. It makes no sense.
Baby torso.
It's all in here, like. It's the distance from ass to knee is obnoxious.
Is that new air bike any good you bought?
It is good.
It's actually not an air bike, is it? Is that an air bike?
It is. There's air bike is in the name.
Ah.
I think it's like roto bike, air bike.
I must get one of those.
Yeah.
Long distance cardio is so fucking boring. It is outrageous.
It is so boring, yeah.
I've been doing, so my original training split before was like Monday and Friday were jiu-jitsu days, and Wednesday and Saturday were sprinting and plyometric days, all of which are going really well, but obviously they're on hold for now. So I've been doing longer bike rides, about 60 minutes.
Oh, it's
so boring.
So boring. I used to do 15 minutes on, 2 minutes off on the rower for 3 or 4 rounds. It's like, I used to literally just have to put on the most violent film I could find.
I've been watching a lot of travel vloggers. Seal on Tour. He's a Canadian travel vlogger. He's kind of new, just novel.
Very nice.
But he's really...
Like a Navy SEAL?
No, he's not a Navy SEAL. He's the furthest thing.
Is that the fat guy?
Dara. He's the furthest thing from an ABC.
Okay.
But that's why I like him, because you know the way a lot of travel vloggers are really manufactured, and you're like drone shots, and they're like, I'm here in the slums of Calcutta, and I love getting Delhi belly. Like he'll be like, I'll fucking try it and we'll see what happens. And he'll just be shitting himself, you know, whenever.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it's really, I'd like his just honesty. Or if people are trying to scam him, he'd be like, no, you didn't do that. Like, he's just really honest about things, which I really like. He's just really, he's just honest. Yeah, that's the way he's not putting on a facade of being a fucking obnoxious douchebag. Like, he's just actually just an entertaining person. I do like Bald and Bankrupt, but I've just kind of forgotten about him.
Bald and Bankrupt's in the UK now. He's doing a tour of basically UK's forgotten seaside villages.
They're kind of depressing.
It's apparently the most depressing videos he's done.
I watched one of them where he was in somewhere in the southwest. I think it might have been where Tyson Fury was from.
Okay.
I was like, I'm actually not watching any more of these.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was where Clarence is living right now.
Oh, really?
I'm joking.
Oh, yeah. I really like Bald and Bankrupt, but it's just not the same when he's in the UK.
Have you heard the rumors on the internet about
Yeah.
that he's a secret agent and he's been like,
clearly he's not.
he's been classically trained in manipulating people?
Look, clearly he's just someone who doesn't want to be at home.
For what reason, Dara? There was this thing for ages that someone was mapping out all the countries he went to, and they were saying they're all the countries that UK didn't have an extradition law with. The ones when he was in Russia and stuff were peak.
So good. Anything in the Eastern Bloc I thought was an unbelievable. Like, even him going around and he'll like meet this old woman outside a food shop, and he'll be like, where are we going now? And she'll be like, oh, and they'll just go off on a little side quest for the day.
When he's in the stands, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, places like that, that was really interesting, especially when you've been there. When we were in some of them, it was quite interesting to see his experiences of them. A lot of them, there's just not much in them, as in like there's just not a lot of people living in certain parts of those countries. Yeah,
and I think as well when you go, like Kyrgyzstan was an amazing country, phenomenal scenery, nobody there, nobody
just in the middle there.
You go to like, you drive for 4.5 hours and you get to like a little town, get some food, drive another 10 hours the next day, another little town, get some food. There's nothing there. Like, the areas are so vast. The population density is so low, which is class. Like, it's absolutely amazing. But in terms of like a tourist destination, like I think tourism out there, any kind of Western tourists that are going there as like cycling and off-road biking and stuff.
And
shooting Barbary sheep.
We were in Turkmenistan, which, if you don't know, is basically the North Korea of the stands. And a load of websites were blocked and WhatsApp and stuff was blocked at the time. And in the meantime, there had been a terrorist attack in Tajikistan.
Yeah.
And we were headed there after Uzbekistan. And when we got back to civilization, we were in Turkmenistan for about 4.5 days. And we got a load of texts. We got a load of texts from people and WhatsApps. We're all getting them being like, are you in Tajikistan? Have you gone there yet?
Yeah.
And we were like, no, why? What's after happening? There was like a terrorist attack, and this cycling group had been going along the Pamir Highway and attacked people and like drove over and murdered us. A couple of them, which obviously was very... So we were like, okay, let's probably not go there after a lengthy debate drinking fermented horse milk.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting because anytime you talk to someone who's been to Turkmenistan from a weightlifting competition, they're like, no, it seems great. And you're like, yeah.
It's the grimmest place in the world.
It's so weird. That's the weirdest country I've ever been. The experiences there were so strange. See, they're going to a big competition and there's loads of other people from other countries and you're all interacting.
Airport looked amazing. We had to go to the airport to do some currency exchange. Looked amazing.
But the airport was really interesting. Was you with me or Todd with me in the airport?
I was there.
So we went into the airport, hadn't showered in like 4 weeks, I'd say, at this stage. And we'd taken off our travel clothes. And you have to go through a metal detector just going into the door of the airport. And when we took off our shoes or whatever, they were literally like this. They're weirdly clean, the whole city.
Yeah.
What's the city called? Oh my God, what's the capital city called of Turkmenistan? Oh no.
It's not Ulaanbaatar. No,
Ulaanbaatar is the capital of Mongolia. So we're in the capital city anyway, and it's really clean and really manufactured. And
it's really fake, by the way. You just drive one street down and it's slums.
We were driving, so we were going around the airport looking for conversion, And earlier we'd paid for these like shawarma wraps in US dollars, very cheap. Conversion rate worked out or whatever. But in reality, the worth of this sort of currency was very little, and US dollars were way more. When we gave the guy like the $10, he was like...
The guy left the kiosk and came back with like a bag of money.
A bag of Turkmenistan money.
And we're like, we're after screwing this guy in completely.
Yeah, because we were doing the conversion rate. We were like, this isn't right at all.
This is like 10 times more money back than we should have gotten.
Then we were like figuring out stuff wasn't right. So we're in the airport and we're going around, and we eventually get to a kiosk, and this woman is like, you want dollars? She's like, no, we don't have any dollars. And then she like looks around like this, and she's like, you can't, like, there's no dollars in the whole country.
She said, things are very bad.
Yeah.
And we can't take dollars.
She was like, no, you can't get dollars.
Can't get dollars, sorry.
You can't get dollars or give dollars. There was no exchange of dollars. But she was like looking around, and she was like whispering. She was like, you can't get dollars anywhere. And we were like, fuck.
Yeah.
So then when we were driving around, there was like secret police following us for a bit, and I don't even know how they picked us up. So there was a GPS in the car, but I don't think it was connected to anything. So when you're at the border, you have to pay for a GPS to have your location.
And it plugs into the cigarette lighter, and they're like, if you plug it out, we'll arrest you.
Yeah, it wasn't working at all. I'm pretty sure it was just a plastic with an LED in the middle that took power from the cigarette lighter. But it's not hard to see what car we were driving. Mm-hmm. And then this Escalade just pulls out of nowhere. We're driving on this 8-lane highway that goes literally nowhere. We're just driving around, just having a look, basically. And they're just following you for ages, and very strange experience.
Bizarre, yeah. I was very happy to get out of there.
Some good weightlifters now, though, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, pros and cons to all.
Pros and cons to
different kind of countries. I can safely say I'll never go back to Turkmenistan.
I'd literally prefer to go anywhere else in the world than Turkmenistan.
Yeah.
Barring an active war zone or inner Dublin city, I'd prefer to be anywhere in the world than Turkmenistan.
Same thing, really.
Same thing.
The thing I do miss about a lot of stands, and even Russia as well, is the food was really
so good.
Was really good.
That food is what you want in almost every meal. Mm-hmm. Like every lunch, dinner, and supper or tea you'll ever have.
It's very sustainable.
Very sustainable.
As in terms of like a diet, not in terms of environmentally.
Just rice, meat, veg, and a gravy-ish kind of stuff over the top of them that everything's been cooked in. Then you might have some potatoes. You'll definitely have some bread on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Always bread on the side. Mm-hmm. Never bread that's come out of a packet either.
No.
That bread was kneaded by hand and baked within a kilometre of where you're eating it.
Basically, once you get past Italy, your chances of getting that kind of food increases exponentially. Like, you start going to Bulgaria, Romania.
Oh, yeah.
Any of the other Balkans or Eastern Europe.
By the time you're in Turkey, you're away for slate.
The first meal we had in Turkey was just bread and peppers and is it hummus? Is chickpeas? Yeah,
I can't
hummus.
remember that.
Yeah, I can remember just after the border. Remember that guy had fluent English, and he was just delighted to be talking English to people. You know, you probably don't remember him. I remember a lot of things randomly.
I don't remember that.
That rally was the most fun. If you're wondering what we're talking about, we drove from Ireland to Mongolia and back again, basically, which is...
It's the most fun you can have with your pants on. It was so good. There's certain things I really miss about it. But the biggest thing, the thing that stayed with me more than anything else,
was the diseases, the venereal diseases you got.
No, was a thing of waking up in the morning and your only job is just to get to whatever location at the end of the day. That's it. You've nothing else to do.
Yeah,
it's literally keep the car going, get to this place, set up camp or find a hostel, and then do it all again tomorrow. It's amazing. If anybody is in the or in the point in your life where you can do something like that, just do it. Because there's only probably once or twice ever in your life you'll be able to do that.
See, the problem is it was also kind of expensive. It was actually pretty expensive, to be fair. Like, you have to be saving for quite a while to do that.
Definitely. I think all three of us were just in a really lucky position that those three timelines intersected, you know.
You can only basically do those at the start of your adult life, or basically near the end of your career life, I suppose, or after you've retired. So there was actually quite a few people who'd retired who'd done it. Not many.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, so the rest of your life then is just not something you can basically pick up and leave. Because not to say there's no... The idea is like you'd be lamenting that if you did it at certain stages in your life, but if you have different priorities, you know, you can't...
Oh, yeah.
It's not a crutch, you know, those other responsibilities, but they're the choices you've made, you know, so you can make those choices and when you want to make them, I suppose. But
Yes.
you know, if you've kids and stuff, you're not realistically going to go and leave for 3 months and drive to Mongolia.
No, and you see people doing like, is it an abridged version of it where they'll do like road trips for 2 weeks at a time? But I honestly don't think you get anywhere near that same level of mental clarity that you do for just being on the road for 8 weeks.
But I think even going into it unburdened, like if you're
Yeah.
we were 25
25.
just had
Just been arguing with people on Facebook.
you had basically rent and a career to sustain.
Yeah.
You were in between careers. You had just
Yeah.
sold your gym and
Yeah.
had a lot of holidays, so you're already very unburdened going into it. So the freedom you feel when you get into it is even
It's
greater.
insane.
Whereas now, were we to do it, there's a huge amount of responsibilities. Even if you could wrangle the time off, your default burden or your lowest order of burdenism,
Yeah.
burden's the wrong word, responsibilities is still higher. And so once you go into that thing, you know there's a lot of that to come back to, where I was going back to working in a lab. You were starting your masters.
Yeah.
There was just the point in your life you have to do those things at those points, I think.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You could have just not come back and things would have been grand.
Yeah.
Or you could have had a completely different set of circumstances when you come back and things would have been grand. Where now, when you get back, the day you land, you have to just pick up where you left off, which isn't a bad thing. Like, most of those responsibilities are phenomenal things that you orchestrated for a very specific reason. But it's just I can't emphasize enough, if you are at any of these points and you're listening to this and you're thinking, or you've mulled this idea over in your head, I would be pushing as hard as possible to do it as soon as possible.
But you can't, it's something like that, because you actually can't do the rally anymore. But
Yeah. I think if you're in the US, you're in an unbelievable position. You could hop in a car, do something thousands of miles long, an amazing road trip, go to Mexico, or go from Mexico down or all the way up to Canada, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, you have a huge continent there that's very easy to travel through in terms of borders, in terms of visas. Like, one of the biggest issues for us is visas. Like, you're sending your passport away to different embassies for the year beforehand, basically, getting different visas checked off. We had a visa company doing it for us, which made it a lot easier. But
not cheaper, though.
definitely not cheaper. But you do, if you're in the US, I think you're in a very unique position that you could do something like that.
Yeah, taking advantage of those things when you're the right age is definitely
Yeah.
the right call, because the opportunities they can come around. Like, as we talked about before, you have free agency. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
Like, you could leave right now and never come back. You
Yeah.
literally could, you know. You better fucking not. But you could. Like, people listening to this, you could just get up and leave. And men used to do that all the time. Just leave their families and go to the next town and start another family. Like, or they'd
Or
have
the
two families.
Aboriginal thing where you go walkabout.
Well, I think that's more of a spiritual journey, isn't it? I don't think that's the same thing.
But it is the same thing. They just said it was a spiritual journey.
No, that's not the same thing.
Is it not?
No, that's not the same thing at all. I think that's actually an insult to adulterous partners who leave, compared to someone who's going on a spiritual journey. In the
Wait, who's it insulting to?
the Aboriginals? Whereas, like, men just, but there's no social media, and you could be like, just leave.
Yeah.
You know, whereas, like, you could just leave now and fly to Bolivia,
Peru.
Funny how we went in South America.
Yeah.
You could just leave and go to Peru and never come back.
Yeah. We know somebody who's, I think he's in his 50s. He's in a load of work all over the world. And he has a Jeep of some sort left in South America, and he just flies out there every few months and just drives around.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah, he's had an interesting lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's this idea that the mundane lifestyle, like, isn't a good thing, or it's interesting when you're at that age, when you're like 20, say up to like 25 maybe, or older, let's say you're like a wife and kids. Surely that seems terrible, or a husband and kids, or a family or mortgage, you know, and you lament it. And I suppose you probably should be thinking like that, because you should go do the things. Because if you don't think like that, you won't go do them.
Yeah.
But I'm going on holiday tomorrow, and my son is 2, and I cannot tell you how excited I am.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the thing. I think.
I'm as excited for the rally as I am for my holiday tomorrow. And this is the trip,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And the holiday tomorrow will probably be a lot better for you than the rally was.
Yes. Well, yeah, and better for my intestines.
But yeah, I think your brain, the makeup of your brain and what drives you has to change as you go through life.
Surely.
Like, there's nothing more exciting than the idea of just traveling away somewhere randomly when you're in your early adulthood. Yet nothing more unappealing than sleeping on the ground in a tent when you're in your middle age.
Yeah.
You know, and that's probably not a bad thing at all.
Maybe it swings and roundabouts. Maybe in 20 years' time, you'll be like, oh, I'd love to do that again.
I'd love to do it right now, but I think there's a problem with my brain.
Some people just like that in general.
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it if it's the right thing, but I wouldn't get any great joy out of it.
I really love camping.
Nature is fucking class.
Yeah.
Nature really is.
What I really enjoy is lying in a sleeping bag and a not great like surface underneath me and just being like, geez, I'm so warm right now.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
so comfortable right now. Because you could be outside lying on the ground with no sleeping bag, but you don't get that. Like, you never lie in your bed at home and be like, geez, I'm so comfortable and warm right now.
Yeah.
I'm so sheltered from everything. Whereas I feel like when you get into a tent, especially if it's like raining or windy outside, you zip that sleeping bag up and you're so utterly grateful for the situation you're in.
Yeah.
You just don't get that in normal everyday life.
Well, you also don't get the full hour of shit talk, so we're going to have to end it there. I hope you enjoyed today's shit talk. Let us know if you like camping.
Stainless steel cooking pans.
Or if you're going to leave all the responsibilities and go to Bolivia. I don't think anyone from Bolivia listens to this.